You know the endless stream of Roblox scripting tutorials? If you've gone through the process of using one, then you've probably felt exactly what I'm about to say, but they aren't the best way to learn. If you're stuck watching YouTube tutorials and you're not able to code without copying a video or AI, there are psychological reasons for this. Let's talk about why.
And get a different microphone. So, why are tutorials bad? They aren't. They're a wonderful starting place. If you're brand new to a topic, it is a solid entry point. However, to actually make it useful, it needs to be paired with active learning. This also isn't specific to Roblox tutorials, but every type of video-based learning. Every single problem I listed at the start, I have experienced firsthand. I've also been interested in learning for a while, but the topic that helps me make sense of tutorial hell is psychology. Psychology is easily one of the most fascinating classes I've taken, and ironically, studying the brain has helped me code more than my actual programming classes. Understanding your mind is a hack to life that is never taught or explained, and I have no idea why. I feel like one class that'd be really helpful in all of school would be how to learn, but oh well. It's easy to trick yourself into thinking, I know how to do this now, when you watch someone else code. The moment you face a blank script, you're going to freeze because you've never built the neural pathways to retrieve this information yourself. When I was in high school, I hated it. I'm thankful every day as an adult that I don't have to be there. But that's beside the point. I read Barbara Oakley's A Mind for Numbers, and for whatever reason, I still strongly remember focus and diffuse modes like 7 years later. When you intensely concentrate on a problem, your mind is in focused mode. The neurons are communicating closer and tighter together. When you relax by walking, sleeping, or taking a shower, the mind will make connections in the background where the neurons communicate more spread out. Both are incredibly important for creative problem solving and scripting. Scripting is not easy. It takes work. But you also need to let your brain connect different ideas in the background. Unfortunately, learning how to script isn't just one thing where a beginner is trying to learn, if they've never touched coding before, programming logic, a specific syntax, and the massive Roblox game engine API. The human mind on average is only able to hold about 4 to 7 pieces of information in working memory. So if you try to shove like 20 new concepts into your brain all at once, it will crash. The extremely unoptimized way that I did it is by stopping and starting over and over again over the course of years. And this is when the Roblox documentation was horrible, so I had to learn from Alvin blocks, free models, random people over Skype, that used to be Discord by the way, and trying to edit scripts in Welcome to Town of Robloxia so that I could bot the game to the front page. You don't have to take the same path. You've got real documentation today. Now, of course, the exciting part is you're never done learning, but there is absolutely an endpoint to learning basic syntax and the Roblox API. Needless to say, you can probably learn what I did in about a couple months if Roblox is all you're doing, and in a year if you do it casually but consistently, and in a couple seconds if you just want to learn basic syntax. If you know English, then you know this is a variable that holds information. There's different types of information like strings or numbers or booleans. This is a function named Bob. Here's how you call Bob. This is a loop. There's 3 of them. And despite the predator problem on Roblox, you can use the functions find first child and get children if you want to use built-in Roblox functions. Jokes aside, I can't just give you information and teach you to script. Your neurons need to take what I just told you and then play with or manipulate that information. But then we get to the next problem. What does that even mean, or how do I do that? What happens when you sit down and try to code? You open Studio, see a blank base plate, and then what happens? Absolutely nothing. That's part of the problem. Create an entire game is not an actionable goal. It's an overwhelming abstract concept that your brain literally does not know what to do with. The massive invisible skill that no one talks about outside of this guy is you need to break down a massive system into tiny microscopic pieces. You'll get better at this with practice, of course, but just pick one piece of your game and start there. But wait, how do I know what I'm interested in? What if I pick the wrong thing? Welcome to the completely natural psychological reaction called analysis paralysis. The brain hates uncertainty. So rather than failing, it tries to protect you by overthinking. The truth is, there is no wrong answer. Play with UI, particles, even part building animation or music. The only wrong answer is thinking that there is a wrong answer, getting paralyzed, and giving up completely. Any action is infinitely better than no direction. So, all of this to say, do not go bigger, go way smaller. Make it a literal goal to go as small and low stakes as possible. Open a script and just start typing the alphabet. I'm not very fast at this yet, but I'd like to get better. Make a variable with every single data type and then try adding them together to see which ones work. If you actually pause the video right now and do this, you're going to get more benefit out of this video than watching it 100 or 1,000 times. The reason this works is that it's forcing active recall and creating something from nothing. It's trying to remove the psychological avalanche that you have to build a full game, which ends up forcing your brain back to tutorials because it doesn't have a starting point. The tutorials provide a starting point, but they don't practice active recall or work on the muscle of creating something from nothing. Okay, say you've gotten to the point that you're actually building something now. Congratulations, you've escaped tutorial hell. Now you're maybe, not everyone, going to run into a completely new problem, and this one is even more evil and harder to notice. It's something I ran into and I see the best developers on the platform run into all the time. It's called perfectionism. It doesn't necessarily show up as I need everything to be perfect, but more trickily appears as this code is kind of messy. I should clean it up before I continue. And you know, the structure isn't very good. Yeah, I don't think I can scale the game. So instead of finishing anything, you start over completely. It is the death of some of the coolest projects I have ever seen that will never see the light of day because they're on rewrite 12. The reason this one is so difficult is because it feels productive. And it really can show up at any skill level because something in your project is always going to be messy, incomplete, kind of bad, or just plain not working. That's the nature of game development. There's sometimes, and emphasis on sometimes, is value in rewriting parts of your game, but always ask yourself the question, if you had to release today, what would the most important thing you could be working on right now be? This is why I love game jams, because you have no choice but to keep pushing. A bad finished system is going to teach you so much more than a perfect system that never exists. Try to catch yourself if you're thinking that I should do this properly if you have 0 game releases. Properly does not exist if you have not released a game yet. Let it be messy, let it be inefficient, and let it be bad. I know it seems like tutorial hell and perfectionism are randomly thrown together topics, but they're actually the exact same thing, just happening at 2 different points. Tutorials are avoiding the discomfort of not knowing what to do, and perfectionism is avoiding the discomfort of releasing something that is broken or just not the best you can do, or even bad. They both feel productive, but if you have no awareness of them, it's so easy to spend months or years jumping between projects without ever finishing anything. It's the exact same trap. One stops you from starting, the other just stops you from finishing.